Yes, students, welcome to the next class of the chapter How Do Organisms Reproduce? Students, if you remember, in our previous class, we had discussed about the asexual mode of reproduction, its types and the details of asexual mode of reproduction. Here, today, I'll discuss about the sexual mode of reproduction. Now, let us first see the characteristics of sexual mode of reproduction. While defining the sexual mode of reproduction, we have seen that in sexual mode of reproduction, two parents are required to produce the offspring. The process of reproduction starts with the formation of gametes in each of the parents. This is known as gametogenesis. Now, for the formation of gametes, a special type of division occurs in the reproductive structure, and that is known as meiosis. Meiosis is reductional division, and the cells formed as a result of meiosis have half the number of chromosomes of that of the parent cell. So the gametes which are formed by the process of meiosis, they are haploid in nature. That is, they have half the number of chromosomes of their parent cell. Once the gametes are produced, we have specialized male gametes and that are female gametes. The male gametes now reaches the female gamete, and the next step is the fertilization. Fertilization means fusion of the male gamete with the female gamete, leading to the formation of zygote. This zygote is a single cell formed by the fusion of male gamete with the female gamete and has diploid number of chromosome, that is equal to that of the parent organism. Now, since one gamete has half the number of chromosome, the other gamete has other half of the number of the chromosomes, they come and fuse together and they help the organism retain their normal number of chromosomes. So zygote helps to retain the diploid number of chromosomes. Zygote has diploid number of chromosomes. Now, next is the formation of embryo. Embryo leads to the formation of fetus in case of animals and directly to the adult organism, plant or animal in plant or animal. Let us put it this way. Now, in next step, we will see the sexual reproduction in plants. You all know from your junior classes that it is the flower which are the reproductive structures of the plant. Flowers carry the male and the female reproductive structures. Now, if a flower has both the male and female reproductive structure, it is known as bisexual flower, like China rose, like mustard flower. They have both male and female reproductive structure. And unisexual flowers are those flowers which have either male reproductive structure or female reproductive structures. Example, papaya. You will see there are some papaya plants which will never bear fruits because they have the male type of flower, and the female plant which bears the female flowers actually produces the fruit. Now, if structure of flower in details, we will get 4 whorls from outside. Means 4 layers from outside. The outermost layer, imagine a China rose flower. The outermost layer is constituted by green leaf-like structure, which is known as sepals. All the sepals taken together forms the calyx. The function of sepal is to provide protection to the flower when it is in the bud form. And since it is green in color, it also photosynthesizes and provides nourishment to the growing flower. Next is petals. The brightly colored petals. Yes, these petals taken together are known as corolla. The calyx and corolla forms the non-essential part of the flower because they do not take part in reproduction directly. They are also called accessory whorls of the flower. The function of corolla is to attract the birds, bees, insects, bats, etc. for pollination. That is transfer of the pollen grain from the anther to the stigma. As I said, calyx and corolla are the non-essential whorl as they do not take part in reproduction directly. Then the layer interior to them or whorl interior to them is the male and the female reproductive structure. The male reproductive structure collectively is known as androecium, which consists of individual units called stamens. A flower can have multiple stamens, and those stamens taken together forms the androecium. The female reproductive structure is represented by gynoecium or pistil, and the individual units are carpel. So all the carpel taken together forms the gynoecium. Androecium and gynoecium are the essential whorls of the flower because they take part in reproduction directly. Now, stamen again consists of filament and anther. It is the anther which has pollen sacs inside, and inside the pollen sacs, pollen grains are produced. Pollen grains are the male gametes. And the carpel consists of ovary, which can have one or multiple ovules inside which the eggs are there. Then a slender stalk-like style and a flattened structure at the stalk known as stigma. The stigma receives the pollen grain, which then passes through the style onto the ovary. Inside the ovary, it fuses with the egg and forms the zygote. How it is done, we will see in our next class.